My first guests are extremely successful and talented software executives that share a passion for music and living life full of purpose. Dan's life was forever changed because of ALS, and his desire to raise awareness and funds for the cause has only continued to grow. And not only has it grown, but he's inspired that very same desire in his friend Mike as well. Both men have continued to champion on behalf of ALS awareness and the ALS Association's Greater Chicago chapter, and we couldn't be more appreciative. Please welcome longtime friends and ALS advocates, Dal Degan and Mike Milburn. Hi, guys.
Hello, Susan. How are you?
Hi, I'm good. How are you guys? Welcome to Sunflower Hour.
It's great to join you. This is fun to be here.
This is so fun. And we're a little bit all over the place here because some of us are in Illinois, some of us are in other states. Mike, I'm so jealous of you. Okay, so many things that we need to dive in here with. But first off, I want to go, Dan, so your high school best friend was battling
Mike
ALS.
Meehan. Yeah.
Yes, Mike Meehan. He was diagnosed in 2013 and he fought a tough battle and unfortunately passed away about 2 years after diagnosis. His journey, his battle with ALS hit you hard. It affected you, it impacted you, and it inspired you in certain ways. So tell me about Mike Meehan and how his journey changed your life.
Well, Susan, thank you, first of all, for this opportunity to talk about this, and my dear friend, Mike Meehan, who I miss dearly, and my buddy, Mike Milburn, who's joined me in this cause. And Mike has really doubled down on helping us with expanding the reach of the fundraising events that we do and helping raise awareness and funding. And the origin story for my involvement with ALS with my friend Mike Meehan goes back to Homewood Flossmoor High School in the south suburbs of Chicago, where Mike and I were classmates and basketball teammates. Mike was the star of our football team in high school. He went on to play at the University of Pittsburgh. He was on the Dan Marino teams for the Pitt Panthers in the 80s, and went on to a career in his family business, packaging business with his father. And when Mike and I each started our own families and we each got married, he married his high school sweetheart, Lori, and raised two beautiful children, Pat and Casey, who are parents now. And as we navigated our lives as fathers and husbands and stayed in touch, playing golf all the time and hanging out, doing our annual golf trip, which we still do today in Mike's honor, we thought, wow, this is what we had pictured as kids, is that we remained friends, all of our core group of buddies. There are about a dozen of us who still hang out together and get together every year. And then when Mike was diagnosed with ALS, obviously it shook us all to the core, and it helped us really appreciate, first of all, how little time we have in this journey that we all have on this blue and green marble. It's really short. The currency that matters most is not money, it's time. And we cherished the last couple of years that we had with Mike after he was diagnosed, and we were able to spend a lot of time with him. And the ALS Association, that's how I met Julie Sharp, was so pivotal and vital and valuable to Mike and Lori and their family during Mike's journey post-diagnosis. And I thought, wow, I never knew anything about this disease other than it's Lou Gehrig's disease. I didn't know anything about the ALS Association. And I've come to know and love Julie and her organization, and people like you, Susan, dedicate their time and talents to helping in this cause. And Mike and I are all in, and I'm delighted to honor Mike's memory with our involvement with this cause.
I love that you found your way to us. And then all of that that love just kind of oozed out because, like you said, you brought Mike into this. And Mike, you met Dan through work, but he was a mentor for you in the professional field. And then that spilled over to something even bigger and better in this friendship that you guys have. And he still continues to sort of mentor you. He has inspired you in so many ways, but especially with ALS advocacy. And how did he inspire you to get involved in ALS? What was it that really, just hearing him talk about it, got you wanting to dive in head first into this cause as well?
Yeah, thanks, Susan. So I think first of all, let's give a big thanks to Julie. We're all here representing what we're trying to do, and Julie's been a wonderful quarterback for that. So again, just thank you for that for Julie and the team.
Exactly. Yes, for Julie.
huge online thank you. I think it's interesting. We spend so much time in the work life, And one of the things that I think both Dan and I were fortunate is we worked at Salesforce, and Mark Benioff was our cultural, spiritual, and business leader. And Mark always talked about giving back. And many of us are in different stages of our journey. And Dan talked about our time on this, marble. And I was a little bit earlier on in my journey, but there was something magnetic about giving back. And I don't think I knew exactly what I was doing. And I'm okay saying that at the time, but I knew it felt good. And when I think the first time that I joined Dan, it was a lot of fun. And then it was, well, how do we have more fun, but also how do we help more? And, some of the best ideas come out of really, really good problems. And this was a problem on how to get more people involved in this cause. And it was sort of a very organic pull. It wasn't like we sat down and were like, what are we going to do? It was just kind of natural. And so I think it was just a extension of all the time and passion that we put into our families and our work lives. And this was just a different extension of the passion that really, really felt good.
I love that. I think it was you and I when we were talking on the phone, making the comment, I don't know if people haven't experienced it. It sounds crazy, but giving back, making this type of a difference, spreading the word on something that you're passionate about is the best kind of drug. I mean, it's just the best high. It's the best feeling. I can't even describe it unless you've experienced it and know what I'm talking about. It doesn't make sense. It sounds crazy. And you guys felt that, and you guys felt it. And I think you're even stronger together because something happened when the two of you sort of joined forces and put your superpowers together that has just taken this to the absolute next level. And speaking of the next level, that's exactly what you've done with this golf tournament. Dan, you kind of brought it up. You had the Meehan Golf Classic, and then this has morphed into something new. So tell me all about that.
Yeah, that's right, Susan. So right after Mike passed, in fact, our intent was to have the first ever Meehan Golf Classic in Mike's honor with him. And sadly, he passed in May of 2013 before we hosted the first event. So in August, it was August of 13, and then the 2 years thereafter, for 3 consecutive years, we hosted this. And right from the start, we invited Julie to join us. And then Julie made me aware that first year, well, we do an ALS Classic over at Cotton Hill. And so I started joining Julie for that event. We were doing both events, and Mike's son-in-law, Casey's husband, James Kerr, is a professional golfer. He's a golf coach and a pro golfer, and just a wonderful husband and father and dear friend. And he would play in the ALS Classic with me, and then Mike would come do it. And we thought, well, wait a minute, we're doing all this work twice. Why not put all of our energy into getting more and more people to come join us for the ALS Classic that Julie had been hosting already for 6 or 7 years by that time. And we've just helped in our humble way try to make this as big and bold as we can to even raise our gaze and our sights on the bigger fundraising target, more and more corporate sponsorships, more friends. And Mike, I've got to credit with really hitting the accelerator on it. I thought, all right, we can take it to this level. And Mike said, well, that's interesting. Let's take it to this level. And Mike has exceeded my expectations, just like he did when we worked together at Salesforce.
Aww. I mean, those are some nice words, Mike. How have you guys inspired each other? So Mike, how has Dan inspired you? And Dan, you kind of just said it, but has he inspired you in other ways?
Absolutely. I mean, I think, if you think about I guess the way I think about it is if one of the traditions that we have is the last hole or two of the ALS Classic, we finish as like the 30, 40, 50, 60. And, it could be 100, or it could be, who knows where we're going to take it. Maybe we'll have the largest group that finishes in the history of the world someday. And
I'm feeling like a Guinness Book World Record is coming out of this. So take note, everyone. It started here.
Absolutely. I think that's our vision. But when you think about those memories and then you work your way back to it, like planning is going to start the day after, September 9th. I'm going to wake up and I'm going to be like, okay, what do we do next year? And if you think about, the last 4 or 5 years, and you just think about every year, I just think we just keep not pushing. It's really a pull. It's because there's not a lot of effort from the perspective of there's a lot of hours and calories, but it's not stress. This is fun, and we have people flying in from Minnesota, we have people flying in from Texas, we have people flying in from California and from New York, and so I think it's just turned into something really special.
Well, you guys, we were kind of talking about this on the phone too, that because it's true, there are so many great worthy causes, and there are so many different golf tournaments all the time, everywhere. Why this one? What really sets this one apart from all of these other options that people have out there for golf tournaments?
Well, that's a great question. And you're right, Season. There's so many great causes. Mike and I are both active with fundraising. Admittedly, it's the social magnetic pull of these events where we get to see old friends. For the American Cancer Society, where our dear friend Tyler Prince, an executive at Salesforce, who was a cancer survivor. My dear friend Greg Buchholz, another cancer survivor who was my partner at Spring CM. He was the founder, I was the CEO. And so a lot of our friends have been touched by cancer, so we're active with that cause. I lost my best friend to ALS. So these are the reasons that we've gotten pulled into these causes, and that magnetic force that you feel to get involved in a cause like Julie Sharp's organization, the ALS Association Chicago chapter. It's a very immediate connection. And it's when I first met Julie, it was clear that her mission, it just made sense to me that we could help. And I thought, wow, if we could pool these people together, these people who share a passion and have a network of friends. And that's, if Mike and I have a superpower, it's simply that we have great friends and friends who have been fortunate enough to, in business and in their lives, have some success that they are eager to share. And so we do this in the form of these events. And we've done this across other causes, but I'd say, the ALS event obviously is top and center for me, given my personal connection and my best friend, Mike.
Okay. How about you, Mike? What do you think really sets this apart for people, maybe viewers that are watching that are saying, you know what, I was just invited to, 10 different golf outings this summer. Why this one?
Yeah, I mean, so I would think a couple of things. First of all, let's acknowledge we're, I don't know what stage we're in, but we're in the middle or hopefully end stages of a pretty horrible global pandemic. And the need and desire to connect with people in a safe way still is very much present. I think we need to say it out loud. And last year, as an example, we had a very, very safe event. I don't think there was any reported illnesses or any reported anything like that because of it. People, I think, really found a lot of value in being able to look people they care about in the eye and donate some of their personal time to be able to do that. Secondly, it's on a pretty historic place. I mean, Cog Hill, we kind of throw it around like, oh, we're just going to go play Cog Hill. But this event has hosted some really ridiculous players, and the ability to follow in their footsteps or to hit shots from the same place. I mean, that's pretty special. Dan and I had the luxury of playing it about a month and a half ago for a different charity event, and we found ourselves whispering who hit this shot when. And so I think that's kind of a piece of it. Yeah. And then I think that what we're attempting to do, and Julie's been, I can't tell you, with the partnership with Cog Hill and the partnership with Julie, the creativity and the fun behind it. A couple of years ago, there were some friends, some dear friends of ours that, volunteered to bartend. And so all of a sudden there was this really fun hole there's a lot of great folks that do that. All of a sudden it just took it up a level. And then there was a margarita truck. And then there was a shot ski. And so I just think that you get something a little bit different. The last thing I'll say is that the people that are coming go to a lot of events. This event is extraordinarily well run, from Bob Dickman, who's one of the legendary golf coaches in the Central region, to Julie, to the course, to Cog Hill. This
the Jenzik family.
Yeah. This event is just run tremendously well. And I think all those things come together, and it's just a tremendous opportunity.
Yeah, it is. And you guys are such a huge part of that too, because you, like we said, you've taken this to the next level, and you've continued. You guys with Julie, you guys just put on an event that, like you said, Mike, it's nothing like anything else that is out there. I have been to countless numbers of golf outings and charities as well, and I can tell you, none of them are like this.
Well, I'll tell you, Steve, we'll put it over the top, and your viewers and listeners are about to experience it too. Is when we invited our dear friend Jeremy Medrich and Price, the Chicago band, with whom Jeremy and I are dear friends and supporters and big fans. We're both groupies and roadies and supporters. We play all those roles. And when that last year was the first year the prize fighter, Jeremy and his brother Brian and their dear friend Steve Mass joined us. And that just helped add to the grandeur of the event and how much fun we can have, and also our appreciation for friendship, because that's really what this is about.
It's true. And our viewers have no idea what they're in for come the end of this show, but they're going to get a little sneak peek. Maybe just a little bit. Feel like you're giving them a little hint, Dan, with a little bit of your wall art hanging behind us. You're giving them a sneak peek of what is to come.
That's right.
Well, ALS, it's a heavy topic, and we know, Julie loves your guitars in the background. When did you get pulled into buying?
Yes.
Love it. But seriously, though, we're laughing, we're joking. There's a lot of great things that have come out of ALS, but there's a lot of horrible things that come along with this disease. But like you guys have said, sometimes some really horrible problems in life inspire some really incredible actions and people to stand up. What has ALS taught you guys? What have you learned through this whole experience and journey you guys have been on since ALS has come into your life?
Yeah, I'll offer you this point of view. First of all, I went from literally zero knowledge of this disease and the horrific effects it has on its victims and families, to understanding that we are not far from a cure. Now, not far can be a misleading phrase to throw out, because there's a lot of work being done and a lot of work that still needs to be done, a lot of fundraising and awareness increase that needs to happen through events like this, which is what inspires Mike and me. But the opportunity that we have, and I'm a relatively old guy, but we still have an opportunity in our lifetime to see ALS cured in our lifetime. That is a very real, that is in our sights, and that is what we're focused on. I want to see a cure to ALS. First of all, the therapeutic gains we've made have been tremendous. But I could see a vaccine or cure for ALS in our lifetime, and that's what we're fighting for.
Literally from your lips to God's mouth at this point, because I'm with you and I want to see that day. I want it to come. I do. How about you, Mike? Do you have anything you wanted to add in on that? What all of this has taught you through this journey of ALS being in your life?
Yeah, I think, one of the interesting connections here was the degrees of separation. I think sometimes you think you're pretty far away from it. Dan experienced it 1 degree, probably woke up one morning and he was a lot closer to it than he ever imagined. And one of the unique moments that I'll share was, I went to a college in Wisconsin called Ripon College, and our chairman of the board, or the chairman of the board of trustees, his name is Tom Abendroth. Tom's from Chicago, and when I shared with him that we were working on the ALS Foundation, he shared with me that his dad was one of the his father, and Tom's older than I am. He shared with me that his father was one of the early gentlemen that helped start some of the research, and I can't fully vocalize how important Tom's dad was to the research. But that 1 degree of separation is just kind of, to me, a reminder of how close you are to this disease and other diseases. Mm-hmm. And so if I can do my small part, or I can volunteer, or I can help, I don't know, none of us know what's going to happen next, but this just feels like a way to do something, if it makes sense, on the offensive versus just waiting on the defensive for a phone call or something like that. So that's kind of how I think about it.
That's awesome. And Julie's chiming in with all kinds of great words, how you guys are such a dynamic duo in this love fest, and thanking you guys. She's so right. Thank you for joining us. Seriously. Before I let you go, though, I want to hit you with a couple more things real quick, because I love this. So as I was talking to you guys and getting to know you, and I'm so bummed this didn't happen sooner, but I'm glad you guys are in my life now, because now you're stuck with a new friend. Ha, ha, ha. But and Dan, you are not old, by the way. You're not even a little bit. You get to pick a number, make a number up. You just stopped aging. That's a number you get to be forever. That's that works in my world. 26, I stopped aging. I'll be 26.
That's a good number. I'll take that one too.
Exactly. I just picked a number. That's it. That's where I just stopped. Wrinkles and gray hair be darned. Nope, I'm staying 26 forever. But so as you've aged, they always say, there's that quote, with age comes wisdom. Now, you guys have both gained some extra wisdom over the years. What would you say right now at this moment in time? What are your words to live by?
Well, I'll tell you what I shared when I lost my dear friend Mike, and that is that if you don't tell the people in your life, your family and your dearest friends, often that you love them, then you need to start, because time ticks away really quickly, and time really is the currency that matters. It's not money, it's not materialism, it's time. And I tell Mike every time we're on the phone together, I'll give him a hug and tell him I love him, just like I did my late brother, I did with the rest of my family, that I do with my 5 children. And it's kind of corny, but I share with the people in my life that I love how I feel, and because I think it makes a difference. And Mike and I always did that. My friend Mike Meehan and I always did that. And he'd push me like, "Oh, come on, don't be sappy, don't be corny." But at the end of Mike's life, after he was diagnosed, he got very sentimental, and it probably made me even more so. So that's what I've learned through this journey.
How about you, Mike?
Yeah, I'm going to go a little bit different route. I think I totally agree with all of that, but for me, it's, you see the sentimental nature come out sometimes at the very end, and you learn from your elders. And what I've learned about this is the earlier that I can give back, or what I wish I would have done earlier, is the earlier the better. So if there's people watching or there's people coming to the Classic, it's never too early to start. And the starting in your own way could be $1 or it could be time. Those things are kind of interchangeable. I mean, the fact that we've got, I think this year, Julie and Dan have the spreadsheet going right now, but I think we're going to come close to over 100, 100 and some, or even more folks that are going to attend this golf outing. Wow. And that's time. That's not necessarily the currency of just donating money. So for me, it's get involved and start to give back, because it's gonna, time will affect you. And the sooner that you can start to give back, the sooner that you're going to feel like you can do something about time.
That's right.
I love it. And it's good for your soul. It's just good for your soul. And you get to be around guys like you, people like Julie. You get, like Julie was saying, this love fest. You get to just be in this love bubble and just celebrate life with people that really know the value and the importance of needing to celebrate life.
I love that. The love bubble actually sounds like a good name for a band.
I've been told I'm good with words sometimes.
That's a good one.
Whoever needs that one out there, start a band. You can use it. Love bubble. I'm into it. And so speaking of bands, I got to kick you boys off so that we can get to Mike. I love this like perfectly placed products here, because between Dan's backdrop, between Mike's shirt, this is the beautiful little hints of who I'm going to be talking to next, introducing all of our, I love it. We're going to bring into the Twitch world somebody new, but you guys don't go anywhere, because I'm bringing you back. I'm not done with you yet. Exactly. So hang out, chill out in our fancy little green room. Be celebrated as guests, and I will see you guys back very, very soon. Thanks guys so much.
Thank you, Susan.
Bye.